Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will explain you what is Terraform variables and how you can declare and define your Terraform variables in 5 different ways. In number one, you can declare and define your Terraform variable in the same configuration file, something like this. This is the syntax variable and variable name is your variable name, and for that the value is going to be default equal to, when you give default equal to value, the value for your variable name is going to be value, and you can use that variable name in your resource type to create that. When I'm going to go and create this as what you see in this presentation, your name is going to be a value. Let me show you my Visual Studio code. How am I going to do this in as a code? Going back to my Visual Studio, this is a simple existing one where I'm not using any of the variable concept here. You see here, I'm simply hard coding. I'm going to convert this file into variables. So going back to my portal, so you see here, this is something what right now it is running. Let me click that, I'll show you that. Going to instance, I'll change it to running. Okay, so you see here there is a hard coded variable value, which is nothing but what I gave it in the double quotes. Okay, what I'm going to do now, instead of hard coding is not a recommended one. I'm going to create the variable and I'm going to pass this value inside the variable, and I'm going to pass that parameter inside my resource type, what you have seen in the PPT. Exactly what you see here is what I'm going to do it in my Visual Studio code. Simply create variable, and the variable name can be any name. Just for the understanding, I'm going to keep it like a variable name, and default equal to inside the same file. Okay, I'm going to create this variable name inside the same main.tf file. So now, since I'm going to have this value, I need to remove this hard coded from here. Type var dot. Okay, now I'm going to pass this value here in the resource type by keeping dot. If you see, there is a Visual Studio already telling you that when you do variable var, it's already showing that variable. Simply give enter. So now when I go and do this value will be passed under the resource type. Let me save it. Terraform, let me do auto approve. Okay, if you go back here, previously you see hard coded variable value. Now it's going to change it to inside the same file. Let me refresh it. This is going to change it to this value inside the same file. Yeah, see here, it's changed. Okay, that means it's working good. So, but in a real world, you will not have just one variable name. You will be having various resources, and each resources will have like more variables. At that point of time, your configuration file may go like hundreds of lines or even 500 lines of code, and mixing your variable and your resources, sometimes it will be more tedious. As a best practice, you need to remove, it's better to keep all your variable in a separate file. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. So simply go here and click plus mark and type variable, can be any name again, and give enter, and simply what you cut down that, save it here. Okay, and save this as well. And now, okay, now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do separate file. Separate file. Okay, let me go and run it. Terraform apply auto approve. So what is going to get changed now? Previously, whatever you see in your portal as inside the same file is going to replace with what I define in this separate file variable. But the underlying concept is still going to be the same. Simply what I did, I copied the variable content from that main.tf, I put it under the variable.tf, and the resource section is still going to be the same. Going back here, when I do a refresh, it's a separate file. Okay, now we are completed two different ways. Now going back to the third one. Okay, there is something called terraform.tf. So basically what it is, if you wanted to take a default variable always from let's say you have 3 or 4 variables, but if you wanted to read it from here, for example, if you look at here, I am already having the variable name as separate file. If you wanted to override, then you can use something called terraform.tf. Okay, see, I'm going to replace that. Even though I'm not going to delete this variable.tf, but simply I'm going to override the content of what we have default. This is going to take higher precedence. I don't know if this will take this big. Let me keep it smaller. Will take. Okay, let me go and run. So what I'm trying to say here, your variable, whatever you have it before, that is going to get replaced using terraform.tf. Let me run it. Going back to the portal, right now you see a separate file which is actually coming from variable.tf. I'm created a new file called terraform.tf. When I use terraform.tf, this is going to get higher precedence when compared to other variable file. So going back here, I'm going to do a refresh. As soon as this is done, is going to change it to will take higher precedence. Okay, so now going back to the presentation, that is what I mentioned here. So you are keeping the same variable name, but the precedence will get changed. So based on your need, you can use the terraform.tf as and when needed. Okay, the fourth option, where you can have multiple TFRs. Okay, can I have a different name other than terraform.tf? Yes, you can have multiple TFRs with different name. Okay, whenever you give a different TFRs, then you need to explicitly call that file something like -var -file, and then you have to pass it as a parameters. So this multiple TFRs, you can use it when you have multiple different environment where you have to pass this var file based on the environment. If you are going to run against dev environment, then you can simply pass -var -file equal to dev.tfs. Likewise, you can do for the other environment. Let me show you in a demo. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create two different TFRs. One is dev.tfs, and then here let me create variable. Let me use the same name, dev environment variable, dev environment variable, and then I'm going to create another file called prod.tfs. Variable name, protection value, environment value. Okay, and very name. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pass against dev environment. Okay, let me run. So again, if you notice here very clearly, when I pass like this -var underscore file, this takes a higher precedence when compared to terraform.tfs and variable having a variable in a separate file. So this takes a higher precedence. Let me run it. Auto approve. you have to give var hyphen file equal to, you have to give it in double quotes, dev.tfrs. Very important. Okay, going back to the portal. So right now it takes will take higher precedence since I pass dev.tfrs. If you look at what is there in the dev.tfrs is dev environment variable. This is going to get replaced in this section. So let me go and refresh it. It's still running. As soon as that is complete, this value is going to get replaced in your AWS portal. Let me refresh again. Yeah, see here, dev environment variable. Likewise, if you pass the production, then whatever you have it in the prod, that is going to get replaced here. Okay, sorry. Prod. So now you see the dev environment variable in my prod. I'm having a different content, production environment value. Okay, once this run is complete, if I go and refresh, you will be seeing production environment variable in the place of dev environment variable. Let me refresh it. Yeah, see here it changed to production environment variable. Okay, the last one, which is going to be output variable. This output variable is very useful if you, whenever you wanted to do a troubleshooting, whenever you see there is an issue in while running your Terraform, you wanted to see what is the variable, you can use output. It's not only useful only for the troubleshooting. In case if you wanted to access the once you put an output variable, that output variable can be injected as an input variable to a different module. So I'll put a different video about modules. Okay, so now let me show you what is that, what is mean by output. Okay, going back to your main.tf. So here I'm going to show you what is the purpose of output. Output, I'm going to create output var, vars, it can be any name. Value is equal to, so let me show you AWS instance, and if I keep dot, whatever you see, there are a lot of things. This is nothing but after the dot you see anything like ID, public IP, key name, monitoring. It is all called attributes. So I'm going to use one of the attributes called ID. You can use anything to check. So for just I'm going to use ID, and I'm going to run it now. So what advantage here, instead of every time, if you see, notice that every time when I run, I'm going to portal and checking the values. Instead of that, you can very well check it in your terminal itself. So if I don't use output variable, I have to always come here and see what is the ID. In this case, if you see, look at my ID. The ID is something D80093. Only when I come to the portal, I can go and check. There is another way you can check this ID under the state file, but for now, just the intent here is to show it under the terminal. If you see here, the output, okay, and that is what I'm trying to mean here. Okay, let me destroy this. I wanted to show you one more thing. Terraform destroy auto approve. Okay, if you look at my presentation, you can pause the I'm not going to go in detail, but I'll show you how to use that output of one variable, how this can be used as an input to a different module, right? That is what I'm trying to show here. So I already have a file. Okay, in this file, if you look at here, I'm telling that I'm going to create a EAP module. So basically what I'm trying to do, I'm going to get the output from this, I'm going to inject inside the elastic IP. Okay, that is what I'm going to do here. So yeah, let it get destroyed. Let me pass it for some time. Okay, so it's got destroyed. Let me close all that stuff which is not needed for now. Okay, there is two files, main.tf and eap.tf. Yeah, this is very interesting, but I will be explaining, I will be put a different video completely for modules. This output is very important in the module section, but I'll just try to make it simple as much as possible. So totally, if you see, there are two files, main.tf. In this main.tf, I'm creating an instance called I'm creating a AWS instance, and then I'm getting one variable which is called ID. This ID I'm going to inject while creating the AWS EAP. Okay, this is my input variable. If you look at the input variable, I'm simply using whatever that instance that I got created, that main.tf, and that in that one, that output where is nothing but your ID. If you see here, outwhere, sorry, I need to use outwhere. So module, and then whatever and module, and whatever this one I create a AWS instance dot AWS instance underscore module, this name dot out. This is nothing but, if you look at my directory structure, I have the main.tf. Okay, so that is what it says, that my module is located under the variable directory. That's why dot slash variable. But if you look at the EAP, I'm having EAP in a different directory, var mod. What I'm going to do, cd dot cd, I'm going to go to the directory where I have the EAP.tf, var mod. Now I'm going to create Terraform apply auto. So basically what I'm going to do, whatever the output of this file, I'm going to give inject, which means that the ID whatever that is going to get created for AWS instance, that would be the same name used for the Elastic IP instance creation. So let me show you that. Going to the portal. Okay, whatever this instance ID is what I'm going to use in my Elastic IP. Let me open in a different tab. If you see here, the name ends with BBE. That is the same name is used under the Elastic IP. So the objective of output can be used as an input in a modules. I hope you understand, but don't worry if it is not clear. When I explain in the module section, that time it will be even more clear. I hope you like this video. In case you like this video, please like it and subscribe it. Thank you.